Hello everybody! Today we're going to be taking a look at Mavis from the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. Mavis is a diesel shunter that previously worked for the Sodor Slate Quarry, but now works for the Farquhar Quarry and runs on the Farquhar branch line hauling troublesome trucks. Personality-wise, Mavis is described as arrogant and doesn't like to be told what to do or take advice very well. Kind of sounds like me, except for the arrogant part. Over the course of the series, Mavis has interacted with all, or at least most, of the main characters in various situations. Thomas, Percy, Toby, Bill and Ben, just to name a few. She's also a bit of a mediator, keeping Bill and Ben in order and comforting Salty when he was new to the quarry. All in all, I think Mavis is one of the good guys in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. Like all locomotives and rolling stock in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe, Mavis is based on a real locomotive. She's based on the BR, or British Rails, Class 04 diesel mechanical shunting locomotive. A shunter, or switcher as we call them in America, basically moves rolling stock around a rail yard or other short distances. The BR Class 04 is an 060 locomotive and built by the Drury Car Company and also by Robert Stephenson and Hawthorne. 060 simply means that there are 6 drive wheels and no leading wheels and no trailing wheels. They started being built in 1948, but most were built between 1952 and 1962. In all, 142 units were built for British Rail and 2 were built for the Central Electricity Generating Board. All were withdrawn from service between 1967 and 1971. 20 units have been preserved and the rest were scrapped. In the past, we've mentioned diesel-electric locomotives a lot. But as we mentioned earlier, Mavis is a diesel mechanical locomotive. So what's the difference? Well, with diesel-electric, the diesel engine acts as a generator that supplies electrical power to the electrical traction motors at the wheels. There is no mechanical connection between the diesel engine and the wheels. Diesel mechanical, on the other hand, works similar to a car or truck. The diesel engine applies its power directly to the wheels via a transmission, again, similar to road vehicles like cars or trucks. Alright, so with Mavis up on the turntable, let's take a detailed look. So this obviously isn't an unboxing. We've had Mavis for a while, running on our HO scale layout, so we're basically just kind of going through our collection here. But Mavis from coupler tip to coupler tip is a little under 5.5 inches long. You can see the primary color here is black. And this is a Bachmann HO scale Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe locomotive, obviously. Same as it's kind of same story as the rest of the Thomas locomotives and rolling stock we've been going through. But yeah, you can see here on the skirting, the Farquhar Quarry Company Ltd is written along the side, along with her name here, Mavis. And then we've got the different compartments here into the kind of the motor housing here with, you can see the little silver handrails, part of the detail. And there's some louvering work there too on the ventilation work. And then there's some additional piping up here, also in silver. And then on the kind of the front here, you can see there's another little silver handhold there. Now these are all plastic construction, except for the wheels, obviously, for the connectivity to the metal track. But yeah, in profile, Mavis looks pretty good. You got the cab back here, again with some silver handrail work here, kind of molded into the side of the plastic. And then those windows are really just kind of silver painted plastic there. They're not really look into the cab or anything like that. But yeah, pretty good representation of the source locomotive that we just discussed. And then you can see here, there's a little radiator cap, it looks like, and then a little exhaust pipe there. And then you can see, maybe you can see, on these black locomotives, it's really kind of hard to see especially the shallow detail that's been stamped into the plastic. But there's some little kind of ladder work here, or step-up work here as well. But yeah, so there's Mavis from the side. Let's give her a turn. All right, looking at Mavis from the back. What I really like about Mavis that I think is pretty cool is kind of this caution tape paint job here, or this caution marking there. I think that looks pretty cool. With the black, looks kind of nice. We got the Bachmann hook and loop coupler back there. That's pretty typical to all of these Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Universe locomotives and rolling stock. You've got a little kind of a cow catcher feature back here with some kind of grill work molded into the plastic. You've got your red buffer beam, and then your buffer posts are in red along with the beam, and then you get your black buffer pads there, and a little utility hook and an airline detail there as well. And then you've got two back cab windows here. Again, that kind of silver plastic. It's not really a clear window. It just kind of, it's a visual illusion, I guess, window. And then you've got your kind of semi-curved little roof over the engine cab there as a final detail here from the back. So yeah, let's give it a turn. All right, looking at Mavis from the opposite side here. This is pretty much an identical to the opposite side, so we won't spend a ton of time here. Again, the Farquhar Quarry Company Ltd. Letterwork there, but yeah, pretty much the same. So yeah, we'll just continue around. All right, looking at Mavis from the front here. Again, you've got your hook and loop coupler up front here, so you got couplers at both ends of the locomotive, and then you've got your cow catcher type feature here with the grill work or the grating work kind of stamped into the plastic. Red buffer beam with the utility hook and the buffers and the black buffer pads, and an airline. You've got some lantern or lamp posts here. You got 3 of them, left, right, and center. No lamps though, no lanterns, unless they were on there. Maybe they fell off over the years, I don't know, but I suspect this model did not come with those. Like they come on some of the steam engines. And then you've got this nice yellow, again, this caution tape up front on the front of the hood there, which is a nice feature. Again, kind of one of my favorite features of this particular locomotive. And you can see here on the decking, kind of goes down to the walkway decking here, goes down to the cab, and you've got your silver painted windows again, your viewing windows from the cab. And saving the best for last, Mavis's face. Always probably the best feature on these Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Universe. Now on these HO scale locomotives, mentioned this in the past as well, the eyes traverse back and forth when the locomotive is going down the track, which is again a nice detail. Yeah, so there's Mavis from the front. Again, fine looking locomotive. So let's take a look at the top and the bottom. Okay, so not much to see from the top and the bottom here. I guess you'll see these items here in profile, the hook and loop coupler, the buffers, and you can see the angle of that little, like I said, that cow catching feature there in the front and the back. And you can see that piping on the hood is like right up on the corner of the hood where it turns from vertical to horizontal, right there in the corner. And on the roof, you got the little panel there. Hypothetically, that is some kind of a vent panel to keep the cab cool, keep some air circulating in there. Must get awfully hot in here. There, and as you look straight down, you can see the decking. But yeah, not a ton to see there, but just to give you the view of the top, so you get an idea of what it looks like. All right, let's take a look at the bottom. All right, looking from the bottom, not a ton of modeling detail down here to see, and by modeling I mean details that would have been on the locomotive itself. It's just pretty standard fare down here for, again, these Bachmann Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Universe locomotives. Access screws down there to get into the little motor compartment. We mentioned earlier that Mavis was an 060, so we've got the 6 drive wheels, but we have no tailing or trailing and leading wheels there. So 060. Other than that, you've got your Bachmann, logoing stamped into the bottom with some other kind of corporate information there, or trademark information, and then you've got your part number there stamped in white, again pretty typical for these. And you've got a couple of screws here so that you can remove those couplers if you need to replace them for whatever reason, and that oh so delicate little spring there on either of those couplers. So yeah, so there's a bottom view of Mavis. So let's get Mavis back on the turntable and take her for one more spin. All right, let's get Mavis out on the layout and take her for a run.